Yes. Now, I'm just looking at the Uniform Customs and Practice for commercial documentary credits. Yes. Mhm. Now, that's a little more complicated, isn't it? The other Uniform Code of Military Justice is easier. Now, let me guess what this is about. Customs and Practice for commercial documentary credits. Now, is that the making of a documentary? Is it the publicizing of a published document? Why don't you give me the credits that are available for the Uniform Customs and Practice for commercial documentary credits? I might be interested in some of these credits. Yes. Now, is that giving credit to the documentary individual that documented something? Yes. Or are those tax credits where you can get a deduction off your income taxes anytime that you produce or manufacture anything that happens to happen? In fact, go to the IRS. Let's call them up. Give me every known credit available to every citizen of the United States that it is a dollar for dollar reduction in their actual taxation. It's not a deduction. No, it's not. It's a dollar for dollar reduction in your actual taxable liability to the Internal Revenue Service. Now, we haven't went through this. We have. Let's say you have an IRS bill. Yes. It's one of these where you have an IRS payment that has to be made for X number of dollars. And a credit directly reduces the amount of money you have to pay them. Yes. A deduction is deduct off your income before you calculate your actual Internal Revenue Service bill. Now, when we go through the credits available to all of those, you've been using credits instead of deductions. You can deduct off the cost of your uniform. Are you sure of that? Did you use a credit, as in you paid $100 and you took $100 off your tax liability instead of deducting it off your income? See, there's a difference in the tax code. Yes, there is. A deduction is a deduction from income. A credit is a reduction in tax liability. Yes, it is. And a lot of people like credits better than deductions because of how much it decreases the amount that you have to pay the IRS. Just give me the credits. Now there's the Uniform Crime Reports. You remember the NIBRS? Yes. When you put closed on those two cases in Clallam County, what did you report to the Uniform Crime Reports as the 2-count criminal complaint in Sequim, Washington on December 31st? You fraudulently filed a report that the citation that was issued, you did not actually. Oh, you said it was me. Pooch. You said it. Oh, well, I'm gonna sue you. For filing fraudulent uniform crime reports to both the National Information Resources Statistics, yes, and then to the state, and the federal government. Oh, oh, oh. Now, when we look at the crime reporting, right, you issued a 2-count criminal complaint where I was not in Sequim, Washington. Yes, you have to actually report, yes, was somebody convicted or was somebody not? And when I gave you the evidence that you would not arrest the actual individual because you would not remove your fraudulent protection order, your crime reporting for every case that you closed without actually having a conviction is fraudulent. Yes. Now I know. Okay. You, well, you're getting sued for that. You can't close cases when you use traffic citations for the allegation of violating protection orders when I provide you the evidence that I wasn't the perpetrator. Yes. And you can't close cases in Jefferson County when I provide to the police department the evidence I wasn't in Brennan, Washington. You have to find the individual that does the alleging of the crime, the 2-count criminal complaint. Yes. And you have to arrest that individual so that there is a uniform crime report that is factual about every crime reported. See, when somebody reports a crime, yes, you need to find the individual that did it. Yes. Now, of course, they have the right to a speedy trial. Right. They have the right to mental health evaluation. But when I provide the evidence that I wasn't there on June 16th of 2017, and you as a police department decide that you're not going to tell Jefferson County I wasn't there, and they make me do all kinds of mental health evaluations when you have the evidence, they're well, when you file a 2-count criminal complaint, prosecuting attorney, yes, if you were to get a conviction for, I'm telling you what. Now, the Uniform Determination of Death Act, yes. Well, I thought we'd go through all the uniforms. Hey, nobody's been dying of any. Did you determine cause of death? Yes. Well, let's say you're. We're going through all the uniforms.